Of course, my TD Ameritrade times out right when I'm about to do the video. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome aboard to the aftermarket recap. My name is Carlos Garcia, founder and CEO of G.A.R Capital. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to join me and every afternoon at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is 5 p.m. Eastern, January 18th on a Tuesday, day after a holiday. Welcome aboard. Before we begin, bottom right-hand corner of your screen, click on that little white logo, turn on notifications, subscribe to our channel, like our videos. All these videos are recorded. Again, you can watch them at any time at your leisure, so you don't have to be here at 5 p.m., but you get the news that you need. So let's rock and roll. Dow was down 543 points, was down a little more earlier in the day, down 1.5%. Nasdaq down 386 points, down 2.60%, the worst day for the Nasdaq since I believe October 15th. And then we have the S&P down 1.84%. The VIX 2279 at 18.76% to the upside. Taking a look at the equal weight S&P, that was down about 1.59%, doing better than just the regular SPY, which was down 1.77%. Small caps were hit, down 3%, $207.83 on terms of IWM. The dollar did gain 95.74, 10-year yields 1.865. So again, yields did rise. Again, I always talk about yields. I talk about the VIX. And I always talk about the dollar. Those are the three things you need to be watching. Gold 169.39 in terms of GLD, down 0.17%. SLV, which is silver ETF, up 2.31%, 21.69. Let's take a look at credit markets. HYG was down 0.49%. That is your high yield credit, 85.67. Investment grade credit 127.93, down 0.95%. In terms of the futures land, again, crude oil up 3.11%. Been saying we're long oil. 85.89 a barrel currently on futures. Gasoline futures, $2.46, up 1.72%. Gold futures were down 0.17%, 18.13. Silver futures up 2.58%, 23.51 an ounce. Taking a look at Ethereum futures, still holding on to above that 3,000 level, 31.57, down 4.48%. Bitcoin futures down 1.84%, 42,325. In terms of crypto, still holding. Nothing has changed for me. Bought some more GRT today. Bought some more SHIB yesterday. So again, and Matic, Polygon Matic, I bought some more 5 days ago. But that's automatic. Nothing has really changed there. Let's go ahead and take a look here at the heat map for the day. Oh, we'll take a look at groups first, and then we'll talk about what happened today. Technology down 3%, obviously, with yields creeping. Again, it's not more just yields, it's more of the sharpness of the move. Cyclicals were down 2.16%. Communication services down 2.15%. Energy, the only green one today, up 0.43%, even with a stronger dollar today. That should tell you all you need to know about energy. Again, I'm still targeting $100 a barrel. Should end up around there and then come back down a little bit with more production. Usually in terms of OPEC, when you start breaking out those big levels, again, you're going to get more drilling. More of these nations are going to drill in order to balance their budgets. Obviously, in terms of COVID issues and more social policies, again, these countries that are oil drillers need to pay for these services for their government. So again, I expect them to come back down a little bit after we break 100. So again, don't be surprised when we get to $100 a barrel oil. That's not going to change. Let's take a look at the heat map today. Again, really the sliver of green today. Activision and Electronic Arts were green today because of the buy of Microsoft of Activision Blizzard. You could see healthcare, Eli Lilly, AbbVie, the only ones that did gain. Visa was a nice one today, up 0.48%, something. Citrix gained 5.43%. ExxonMobil, CVX, COP, Energy was the big winner. Again, some industrials gained. Caterpillar, John Deere, like Caterpillar, obviously. Lockheed Martin did gain as well today. In terms of real estate, really the only sliver of green there was PLD, Prologis Inc. But again, just a sea of red. Again, we know the drill. Microsoft, Apple, Nvidia, Google, Facebook, Amazon, Tesla, the big ones there. You see banks continue to fall. I expected a bounce, but again, Goldman Sachs was down nearly 7% today after earnings. I bought some more. I do love Goldman Sachs. They're still cheap relative to PE ratios. So again, they're not high in terms of valuation. So that's where we are. But now let's go to in terms of what I saw in the market today. So I had some Apple puts that I sent to UOA, Unusual Options Activity, to our members. We had the 170 puts since last week. We only squeezed 20%. Now you're probably saying to yourself, Carlos, that's not bad. Well, yeah, when the stock is down 1.89%, again, I was down 40% at the open, and it got as high in terms of the trade, up 20%. So what does that tell me? That tells me that put premiums are not getting the demand. So what does that indicate? A possible short-term bottom. Now let me go ahead and explain why I think that. Let's go and take a look at E-mini futures. That 100-day moving average has not broken. Now again, I've said if we break that 100-day moving average and continue down, we're going to hit 45.17. My big level where I'm ready to buy some more stocks is around 44.01. That'll be a 10% correction from highs of 48.08, which is, again, I'm welcoming, and we are going to get that. It's pretty much set in stone. We need to get these leveraged bets out of the way. We need to make sure that, again, these kind of corrections are just correction in price. They're not correction of the companies themselves. So understand that when you're invested in companies, you're invested in companies, not just the stock price. Now, again, it's nice to see the stock price go up, obviously, but again, focus on your core holdings, focus on the names that you know do well. Again, if you're looking at just high beta names, it could be more pain. If you're a Peloton shareholder, you're in pain today. If you were a Riot shareholder, you're in pain today. Mara, mRNA was down today. Those are growth. Space, broke $10 a share. It's now at $9.37. AMC down 8.41%. Palantir, but again, I like Palantir long term. They were down 6.5%. DraftKings was down. Again, all the growthy names in terms of high valuations are taking a hit. That's what's happening. Again, higher yields hurt these names short term. The question is, do they have the profit in order to keep up their valuations? That's why earnings this quarter is so freaking important. But again, if not all is lost, again, now you just have to make sure that you can get a stock or buy more of a stock at the right price. Price is so important, but again, if you're a long-term investor, you're not worried about price so much as you are looking for quality companies with good balance sheets and great management. That's really just it. And again, Microsoft, again, doing merger and acquisitions, again, doesn't indicate a bear market to me. It just doesn't. You don't spend cash in tunes of around $68 billion for a company when you're expecting the market to fall. That wouldn't make sense for a Microsoft to do. Again, you would just wait for the market to fall. So that to me signifies that, A, things are getting a little cheaper, which is good, and these companies are willing to spend their cash. And again, Microsoft has tons of cash. Now, if Apple can do a little something, that'd be nice because I'm an Apple shareholder. But again, we'll wait and see. Again, we know that Apple is working on some VR stuff. They're working on the Apple Car. Microsoft, I love this move, buying Activision Blizzard as a Call of Duty player, a not very good one. Again, I hate that Vanguard crap, and they try to force feed it down our throats with Caldera, which is a crappy map. Again, I played Call of Duty all the time with the team, and I'm not good, but again, I don't enjoy it as much. So again, I welcome this kind of Activision buyout by Microsoft. Microsoft does things very well, except for the Zune music player. But again, we know what they bring to the table in terms of Xbox. But what this Microsoft move does to me, it really tells me they're really investing into the metaverse. So I do like that a lot. If you're interested in the metaverse and how it explained, take a look at our podcast under Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify, and the Anchor app under G.A.R Capital podcast. I talked about that last year, a couple of months ago. So again, if you're interested in the metaverse and kind of breaking it down in a very simple approach, take a look at that podcast. It was a fun one to do. But again, looking at these technical patterns here, you could see E-mini futures. I know I live off this thing, but that 100-day moving average, guys, it hasn't broken. Do not be surprised tomorrow if we bounce. Do not be surprised tomorrow. Just make sure of that, because this market is really just kind of functioning off technical patterns, not really fundamentals. At the end of the day, Treasury yields going up doesn't really concern me for the big boys, but for the smaller, kind of the SPACs names and those high beta aggressive growth names, that's a problem because it costs them more to borrow, and we know that. And higher yields, they tend to switch off or trying to turn valuations on its head. So again, you don't want to pay 100x multiple price to earnings for this growth company in terms of a higher rate environment. Now again, relatively speaking, 1.865 is not the end of the world. Again, most bull markets, you're around 4 to 5% on a 10-year yield. Now you're at 1.865%. And yeah, we had a drop in COVID. We had a drop earlier last year. But again, that's tapering for you. That happens. We got to fight inflation, obviously. Now we just got to see if we get the supply chains moving, and we'll go from there. But again, I'm still bullish for the year. So for me, what I want that's going to happen is I want these corrections to happen quickly. Knock them out. Get them out of the park early, and then we can move on because it's needed. We're used to getting one correction per year. We didn't have one last year at all. We didn't have one correction. We had a 5% pullback. We had a correction on the Nasdaq, but not on the S&P. So again, the S&P is still the big boy. The S&P is still the barometer of the market. We know that, either equal weight or regular weighted, the way it is with tech. But we know the drill. So do I think it's panic time? No, the VIX is not showing me panic. It just isn't. So again, let's look at the VIX together, and we could see this is the fear gauge, the volatility index on the daily. Again, kind of still stuck in that pattern. Once you start breaking 27, then you start getting capitulations around 30, 34, but we're at 22. So again, could we get a little higher? Sure, but I think tomorrow, we get a little bit of a relief rally. I would expect that we get a little bit of green tomorrow. Again, probably some buyers in, but again, 10-year yields will probably fall slightly. But again, the faster we get this kind of correction, just rip off the bandage. It'll give us some opportunities, I think. But again, a breakout on TNX on the daily chart. If we go ahead and expand it out, 1957 is your level. That should be the first level of resistance. If that's break, then we're going to start getting to around the 2.2 area. So again, if you're a real estate person, if you're someone that's looking to borrow money, your rates will be a little higher in terms of the mortgage rates. In terms of credit cards and car loans, not so much. You won't see it as bad, but mortgage rates are very tied to the 10-year yield. So again, that's why it's super important to look at. And you could see, if we go ahead and expand this even further, a 20-year chart, and you could see, again, 1957 is the key, but we got as high in 2017, which was a nice bull market year, of around 3.2%. So again, you can see that we're on the cusp of going up there, but I don't think we'll get to around 3.2%. I think 2%, that should be around the resistance there. We'll probably get back down a little bit. And again, if we start getting slower growth in terms of earnings, I think the Fed will probably pull the pedal out of the metal in terms of 4 rate hikes. I expect 3, but again, maybe they will. So again, the Fed is beholden to the market. Again, I think they care more about the stock market than they do actual inflation. And they are very to the point of reactive instead of proactive. So again, I wouldn't put too much faith in them either. But at the end of the day, take a look at technicals. That's going to be your friend so far. Again, 1957 is my resistance so far. If we break above it, banks should start getting rolling. Again, it'll be short-term weakness in terms of technology companies. But again, the big 5 technology companies, the mega caps, not the aggressive growth ones, are probably the way to go. That's what I did in 2020 in March. I bought Apple, I bought Tesla, I bought a lot of names like Microsoft, and I added when everyone was panicking. So again, I welcome the panic. They're always great buying opportunities, especially if you're a long-term investor. But again, I know when you see red on your screen, everyone tends to panic anyways. It's just the name of the game. And again, we're human beings. We're human beings. We don't like to lose money. Who likes to lose? Taking a look at Nasdaq here, we'll go to the daily, and we can see that we did slice below the 100-day. So the 200-day is your next level, 14,989. And again, that still wouldn't be the lows of October. So again, we're still kind of hovering around the level. We have not tested the 200-day yet. So again, that could be something to look for. I think tomorrow we get a bounce. I think a slight one, not crazy. I don't think we're going to get up 600 points tomorrow, but a nice little relief bounce tomorrow. We'll take a look at futures. And again, something that really stood out to me today was Bitcoin started kind of bouncing back a little bit toward the tail end of the session. And I do believe that Bitcoin and crypto is the tail that wags the dog in a sense. Again, that is a representation of risk on assets where people want to start kind of buying some more speculative names. Bitcoin is as speculative as we get. Obviously, we'll take a look at the chart, and you can see right towards the close, a nice jump in Bitcoin. Right around 42,343. Remember, we got as low as 39,650, so that 40,000 seems about right. And if we go to that daily here, you can see it's still kind of hovering there. Again, that support right around 40,500, 40,800. Your bottom low here that we had in 2011 was right around 28,805. And if you bought there, obviously you'd be up. And then we got to around 69,000 and we came back down. So again, I still believe in Bitcoin. I still think Bitcoin is the future, just like I see Metaverse. And when it's all said and done, it's really the innovation stocks are going to carry us forward. We know what value stocks bring. Value stocks are a nice hedge because of inflation and, again, a dividend and all that. But again, how much futuristic or how forward thinking can a Caterpillar get? Can a Home Depot get? Can a Walmart get? I mean, they really can't do much. But an Apple, a Microsoft, again, if you're younger in your 20s, early 30s, those are the kind of names you want to have most of in your portfolio. Again, cash-rich companies with good balance sheets. Again, forward thinking. And that's why I still think Cathie Wood still kind of has it in terms of what she's thinking long term. Again, she's very different in terms of a hedge fund manager. She's probably looking at more of a 10-year approach, kind of very Warren Buffett-esque. But again, we're in a world where it's very instant gratification. We want money yesterday. So again, I still believe in these companies long term, like an Upstart, a DraftKings, a Palantir. I like them long term, and that's why I still invest in them. So I don't kind of look at day-to-day movement in the markets to make investment decisions. I did buy some Goldman Sachs. I like Goldman Sachs long term. They're still the best in terms of investment banking. I love JPM. I still own them. So again, I'm not really worried in terms of day-to-day, but again, I still look at the technicals for trading. And again, the Nasdaq, again, we're starting to hit crucial levels, starting to get close to flirting with the 200-day, but E-mini futures is telling me that even with those put premiums kind of weakening on Apple, I think tomorrow we get a bounce. So we'll see if I'm right or am I wrong. I've been wrong a lot, and I've been right a lot. So let's see. Hey, Carlos GS, what's going on? Stay bullish or stay foolish? I stay bullish, but again, you'll still get some short-term weakness for some opportunities. So again, it's not as just as, binary as stay bullish or you stay bearish and you're going to lose money. If that's the case, man, then you could just pull out your money from the market and stuff it under your mattress if that's what you want. ES touched the 100 DMA and bounce off for a correction. The correction level, guys, is 4401. That's the level that you're looking for, 4400 in S&P. We are not in a correction yet. We're at 4577. We still got a little ways to go. But again, that 100-day is still kind of holding on. So like I explained, we may get a bounce here. Hey, Carlos, you see TNX continuing to rise this week or maybe cool down? Now, again, I think tomorrow we'll get a little bit of a cool down in terms of the rates expanding. Again, that 1.9 level seems to be that resistance. But again, that remains to be seen. IWM puking, I regret closing my puts early. That happens. And then if it bounced, you'd be like, I regret holding it. Name of the game, man. Profit is profit. That's the name of the game. What was a nice signal to go long on tech? So again, for me, 4,400, that's the level I'm looking for to really deploy some capital to buy some names that I've been wanting to buy for a while. I want to add to my Google. I want to add to some Apple. I haven't added to my Apple stake and my IRA yet. I'm waiting for 4,400. And I can't wait for that to happen because it's going to happen. I smoke Metapack. Okay. There you go. Hi, Gar. Thoughts on BAC puts? Well, BAC does report this week, so again, I'd be a little careful on what you do with BAC, Bank of America. It's testing the 50-day moving average, so again, I'd wait it out. Let's see. No position yet. Should I buy XOP? It'll be a very small position. I own it. I'm up about 14% on it. I think XOP is fine to own long term. Again, until you get to $100 a barrel. This earnings season will be weak. Well, let's see. That's really the deal. Goldman Sachs didn't have the best earnings report. JPM was okay. Wells Fargo was okay. Well, better because of the price action afterwards. But we all know what's the biggest, the bell of the ball. It's the tech names. It's the Microsofts. It's the Teslas. It's the Apples. That's what we're looking for. Banks, we know the drill. We know the drill with banks, right? It's all about investment banking. It's all about trading. It's all about loans. It's all about deposits. That's really it. And again, with banks, guys, we know they're regulated. I mean, what more do we expect for more upside? I mean, other than unless you expect rates to hit 4%, which again, a creeping rate environment, higher rate environment is fine. Banks are going to be okay, but again, don't expect the world either. Came in late. Are people selling off bonds so much? And again, who was the person? Who were the entity that was buying bonds? It was the Fed. The Fed was buying Treasury bonds. Now they're tapering. Hence the sell-off in bonds. When you don't have a buyer, what happens? You tend to sell. I see a market turnaround once the Fed announces the rates and once earnings are over. That could be it, sure. Kathy smokes too much Metapack. I don't know what Metapack means. Is that a type of cigarette? Obviously, I'm kidding. Correction is minus 30. No. 10% is your correction. Minus 20 is a bear market. Loving the double videos a day. Thanks, Carlos. Hey, you're welcome. Here to help as always. So again, really, the main thing we're looking at here is not just focus on day-to-day moves, but focus on your technical patterns. That's really it. The 100-day, the 200-day moving averages. Those are really going to tell the tale. Again, especially on the daily chart. If you're looking at the 1 hour chart, it's more of a short-term scalp sort of thing. But again, I saw the put premiums go very slow on my Apple puts, and we know Apple is very low beta, runs with the market, and they're running out of gas at the end of the day. I think Microsoft bounces tomorrow. Obviously, as we get the information with the ATVI deal, again, I think it's a great deal. It's all in cash, so again, it's not like they have to sell bonds in order to raise cash. We know Microsoft has cash. Again, I would like Facebook or Meta to start doing some work, start seeing to deploy some capital. Apple has tons of capital to deploy. So again, this doesn't happen in a bear market where you get mergers and acquisitions. If you're a Microsoft CEO or a board of directors, if you think the market is overpriced, why would you make the deal now? Wouldn't you get Activision a lot cheaper? Something to think about. Well, the correction happened before March. That's tough to say. I'm not sure. But again, if the earnings for tech is very weak, then yes, we'll get a correction right around mid-Feb or early March, and then we'll kind of get out of it, and then we should have a decent summer. Again, I don't expect double-digit growth this year. Don't expect double-digit growth. Last year in S&P, we had like around 24% growth. You're not getting that this year, especially with midterm elections. Seasonally, in the first presidential cycle, the midterm election cycle is the weakest. What's good news is the third year is better. That's better than the second. So again, if you have a long-term view, you're going to be fine. Any thoughts on Evergrande almost over $5 billion over the next 3 months? What can China do? They can print. They already cut rates. I think China's on the ball. They want to go ahead and cut rates. So again, they're doing stimulus stuff. Evergrande just got too big. That's all it is. And what's the difference between that and Lehman Brothers? And again, Lehman Brothers, we had a collapse, and all it took was some, $700 billion bailout to get there. And what happened then? We came out okay. And if you bought in 2008, 2009, you're probably sitting pretty today. So again, let the other people panic. That's fine. But if you have a plan long-term to invest, and you're investing early and you're investing often, and you have a plan, your emergency fund, all this stuff doesn't bother you. Again, if you're in your 20s, why are you talking about stocks today? What, you think you're going to make $1 million tomorrow? You're not. I'm sorry. You're just not, depending on how much you have. But again, you're thinking long-term in terms of retirement. The S&P long-term grows. Now, again, you're going to have some hits here and there. You always have some kind of headline or something, always something crazy. But what happens? The market tends to move up long-term. We know that. Don't bet against America. All right, guys, we'll leave it there. Have a great rest of your evening. Thank you so much for joining me. G.A.R Capital, FX.com is the website. G.A.R Capital on Twitter. If you want to get more market commentary, I live blog daily. Whatever I see with charts, it's there. Follow us, G.A.R Capital. Instagram, we don't do as much anymore because it's so freaking clunky. Again, you don't even get the news first. It's a mess. So I do more stories than anything else. Again, you'll get that if you see us. But again, those bots need to be eradicated. I have sent messages after messages after messages to Instagram. It never ends. So again, we have to put the disclaimer in terms of the bots. Be careful out there, guys. Those bots are a pain in the ass. And of course, follow us here on YouTube. Subscribe to our channel. Do this every day, twice a day to make sure you're up to date. Thank you again, guys. Wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. Thank you to our amazing audience and followers. You're the best. Make sure to hit that like button. If you missed anything, feel free to rewind. All of our videos since forever is on here. So again, feel free to check out our library of all of our calls. Where we hit, where we missed, it happens. And according for the Cowboys thing, what can I say? The Cowboys disappointed me. Nothing new. When you're a Cowboys fan and a Colombian national soccer fan, you are used to disappointment, guys. It's the name of the game. Have a great one, guys. Cheers.